These defensive setups were used by pro player Henry to win his 6th Madden championship, solidifying him as the Madden GOAT. I'm going to break down exactly how he created the best defense in Madden 24 to shut down the top pro players so that you can learn how to play defense like the Madden GOAT. We'll also cover 3 very secret adjustments that he uses that most players simply don't know about, and this is what makes his defense better than everyone else. Now, in Henry's first game of the Ultimate Kickoff Finals, he faced one of the best offensive players in W, who uses the most popular formation in Madden history, bunch. In order to stop the best formation in Madden history, Henry used the nickel 3-3 formation in the 4-6 defensive playbook. It gives him the ability to bring great pressure off the edge, which is the biggest weakness of bunch since you can no longer block the tight end in this formation. From there, Henry makes a few key defensive adjustments to take away the easy quick passes but also prevent the big plays as well. Henry runs a hybrid defense that mixes man and zone coverage that is extremely confusing for his opponents. The 2 main plays Henry uses is nickel blitz 0 and cover 2 invert hard flat. With the auto flip on in his defensive coaching adjustments, this way the nickelback blitzer is always on the bunch side. This gives Henry the ability to bring pressure from opposite the running back, but also occasionally use this nickelback in coverage to throw his opponent off. Now here we see that Henry is actually down 14-7 at the beginning of the game due to one early mistake and an unfortunate fumble, but this is where he starts to lock in on defense and completely shut down his opponent's high-powered offense. It appears here that Henry is in the cover 2 invert hard flat. The first thing he has to do is set up the pressure, which he does by blitzing all the linebackers, QB containing, and then sliding the left linebacker out until he changes into a contain assignment. All of these setups will be in the pinned comment below as well if you want to know how to set these defenses up. Now that he has his blitz set up, he has to adjust his coverage. Now, one of his main defensive setups that he's going to use against bunch is to press the defense, put the outside cornerback on the solo receiver side into a deep third, then he's going to put the right linebacker into a hard flat, and then he's going to man up the outside cornerback on the bunch side to the outside wide receiver. This is going to eliminate any quick passes on both sides of the field, but it also prevents any deep passes over the top on both sides, leaving Henry to only have to worry about the middle of the field himself. The pressure comes in quick off the edges, as you can see, and W is now faced with a 4th down. So let's show you how to set up this defense before we move on to his other setups. Again, we want to set up the blitz, so we need to blitz all linebackers, and then we need to contain and slide this guy out. So now we're going to have the 2 contains off the edge with the nickelback and the outside linebacker. That's going to bring our pressure. Then we want to press the defense. We need to take the outside corner on the solo receiver and change his deep zone into a deep third. This is going to allow him to completely eliminate that receiver. Then we need to take this blitzing linebacker and put him into the hard flat, and then we're going to man up the outside corner to the B receiver. So with this setup right here, as you can see, we have both flats taken away, so any types of quick passes to the tight end or the running back are not going to work. The outside wide receiver is taken care of with this deep zone that's going to actually press the wide receiver and slow him down. There's no deep passes that we can get on the outside right of the field because of the deep zone, so now all we have to do is worry about the middle of the field ourselves, and we want to take care of these guys, and you can see we get quick pressure and everybody was covered. Now let's talk about the first secret adjustment that Henry does that other people don't do. Notice how the deep third on the solo receiver gets a jam, which not only slows him down while the pressure is coming in fast, but it prevents him from getting instantly behind the corner for an easy touchdown. To ensure that this deep third cornerback gets a jam almost every time, Henry uses the match coaching adjustment, which not a lot of people know about. You'll notice that one thing Henry always does is put the outside cornerback on the solo receiver side into a deep third, no matter which coverage he's using. If he's using the cover 2 or if he's using the man blitz, that cornerback will always be in a deep third and get a jam, eliminating that receiver completely from the play. And we're going to come back to this adjustment a little bit later in the video to show you just how good it actually is. Now moving on to 4th down, the next play, Henry switches up the defense a little bit. Instead of bringing pressure, he decides to play coverage, anticipating that W will block his running back. He presses the defense and puts his outside cornerback into the deep third as always, but then he mans up all 3 wide receivers on the right with the 3 defenders, the outside cornerback, the nickelback, and the right linebacker. He then puts his left linebacker into a spy to prevent any type of a QB run, and then he lurks the middle of the field himself. This confuses W, who is expecting a blitz, and he forces a pass deep that is broken up by the safety who is in the deep half. And that brings us to secret adjustment number 2. Henry almost always keeps his safety on the bunch side of the field in a deep half. half. When he's running the cover 2 invert, the safety is automatically in the deep half. But when he runs the nickel blitz 0 man defense, he typically puts this safety into a deep half as well in order to prevent against easy streak touchdowns. Now earlier in the game I said that Henry made a mistake, and it was exactly that. He forgot to put his safety into a deep half, and he gave up an easy touchdown because of this. Now on 4th down, he's prepared, and it results in a turnover on downs. So let's look at that coverage setup that Henry just ran. He's going to press the defense and then put the outside solo cornerback into the deep third. He's going to put this linebacker right here into the spy, and then he's going to man up these 3 guys right here on the 3 receivers in front of them. So you can see the 2 receivers and tight end are manned up with 3 guys sitting right in front of them. This means that it's going to be really hard for any of those guys to get open on that side with the deep zone. It's going to be hard for the solo receiver to do anything because he's getting jammed by the deep third. We have a hard flat just in case the running back goes out. And another key thing you want to do here is make sure that your user defender is blitzing, because the game will render this as 4 people rushing, which will help the 3 actual rushers get better block sheds. So what we just need to make sure happens here is that we don't let anything up over the deep middle, and as you can see, nothing's open on the play, everything's blanketed, and that's what you do on a big down to really shut your opponent down. Now right here, not too much later, Dubby got the ball back, and this is where we see Henry using the nickel blitz 0. He does his blitz setup with the linebackers and containing to get his loop pressure off the edge. He puts the solo side receiver into the deep third like always. He then puts his safety on the bunch side into the deep half like we just talked about, and he puts his linebacker on the right into a hard flat. But he leaves the safety in his default assignment in this setup, which has him cross man to the tight end in case the tight end runs a drag or some type of a post route. Henry is choosing to purposely leave the running back open here, expecting Dubby to block him, as it's really his only chance to stop the pressure out of bunch since he cannot block the tight end. Henry will cover the slot receiver and hope that Dubby doesn't send his running back out. Henry is right, and he winds up getting to the QB. So let's take a look at that nickel blitz setup that Henry just ran. So of course you have to blitz all linebackers, contain, and then slide the left linebacker out to set up your contain loops off the edge. Then you're going to press the defense and put the outside corner on the solo receiver into that deep third like always. You're going to put the safety on the bunch side into that deep half to prevent the deep passes. Then you take this linebacker and you put him into the hard flat, and then you're going to use her over the middle. So again, you can see that the safety is cross-manned with the tight end. So if the tight end were to run across the field, he would kind of meet him in the middle and help play coverage. If the tight end goes to the right side of the field, then that safety would just follow him. But we can't get any quick passes off to the right because we have a hard flat. We're leaving the running back open, but we're anticipating him to block. And our responsibility is to watch the middle, but mainly the slot receiver as he is uncovered. And what's going to happen here is we're going to get pressure off the edge. We have everybody covered, and once again, we get to the QB. This brings us to another 4th down where Henry will once again go coverage. This brings us to our 3rd secret adjustment, playing coverage on 4th down when it's least expected. This is unexpected as most Madden players want to bring pressure on big downs as it makes people uncomfortable. But by Henry knowing that his opponent pretty much has to block the running back in bunch to really have a chance, this gives him a numbers advantage when he drops back into coverage on a 4th down, where the best short yardage receiving option, the running back, is rendered useless because he's not actually on a route. Henry can either be in nickel blitz 0 or the cover 2 invert here, but here is what the coverage looks like. The defense is pressed, the solo side cornerback is in the deep third as always, the running back side safety is in a hard flat just in case the running back does go out, the bunch side safety is in the deep half like always, the outside cornerback is manned up on the outside bunch receiver, and the nickel back is in a spy. The right linebacker is actually manned up to the tight end, and the left linebacker is in a hook zone. This leaves Henry to basically just cover the slot receiver once again. This is a slight variation to the coverage he ran on the previous 4th down, but the principles are the same. Now watch the solo side receiver. He's on a comeback route, and Dubby is expecting this to be an easy 1st down versus man coverage, except the outside cornerback is in a press deep third, and as we know, not only does he get a good jam on the receiver due to the match setting that Henry has, but he actually plays the comeback route much better than a straight man defender would, and thus Henry gets another big stop. So let's set up that defense here. What we're going to do is we're going to press the defense. We're going to put the outside corner into the deep third. We're going to put the deep safety on the bunch side into the deep half. We're going to take this safety and put him into the hard flat. We're going to man up the right linebacker on the tight end. We're going to put the nickel back into a spy, and we're going to put the left linebacker into a hook curl. So the defense is going to look something like this. We have a couple guys in man coverage. We have zone coverage kind of bracketing the left side of the field. And once again, we just have to watch the middle. Mainly, we have to watch the slot receiver in case he tries to go on a corner route or a deep cross over the middle. And here I'm going to do the same thing and try to throw this comeback route, and you can see just how good this corner is going to play it. This jam that he gets on the receiver is one of the best secret adjustments in the game, and it really just makes it hard for this receiver to ever get any good separation. Here later in the first half, Henry does switch it up on 4th down, however, and decides to bring pressure this time out of the nickel blitz crossman look that we just went over a little earlier. This is what the setup looks like. Henry is worried about defending the slot receiver again with this setup, and he'll leave the running back open as he anticipates Dubby to block him in order to have any chance of getting a pass off. Even with the running back blocked though, this pressure still oftentimes comes in, which it does right here, and the crossman safety is able to actually run over and swat the ball away from the tight end. Henry does like to play coverage when it's least expected, but he also isn't going to just get predictable and do it on every 4th down, and neither should you. In the end, Henry wins this game convincingly, and he eventually goes on to secure his 6th Madden championship later in the tournament and officially cements himself as the Madden GOAT. Now that you know how to play defense like a Madden GOAT, you're halfway there. Now you need a good offense to run, and you can check out this great offensive scheme right here on the screen.